I think it's time to play Flip the Book. So would you like to play an intuitive game where I give you 3 books to pick from and we see where we end up?
Okay, so we'll start with your book. Would you like to
Righto.
start with your book? Yes?
Yep.
Good idea.
So because Josephine and I talked earlier, so Josephine wants to do the same. We're going to do Josephine, and then Josephine wants
Yes.
to do me with her book, which is we've never done before, so I'm very excited about it. Okay, so book 1, 2, or 3?
Well, 3 is my lucky number. I'm going to pick 3.
Okay, so that's what I refer to as the big book, so your insight and awareness book. So you have actually now got 1 to 430 pages to pick.
Holy hell.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm going to tell you, because 3 is my lucky number, I'm going to pick 33.
33.
Yeah, because big things happen to me at 33.
Okay.
33, and big things happen to people at 33, 32, 33. Okay,
Okay.
so what does that read?
5 questions to pick from because it's actually from a questionnaire.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah, that could get complicated here, but off you go.
Okay, so I'm going to go with question number 1.
Okay, question 1. What do you know about your desire for control?
Well, I haven't got any control. I haven't got my desire for control. Okay, I need to be very careful. Oh, desire. That's a hard one.
Because we're coming a little bit out of context, what's your understanding of control?
Okay, to me, my understanding of control, I had to learn that throughout life.
Okay, so what did you have to
Because to
learn?
me, control was my power.
Okay, so you're looking at control as
Not
self.
losing my temper so quickly.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, to
yeah,
control that. Controlling my emotions, also with
yeah,
my readings, because I couldn't control my emotions. So I've learned control.
right. So you've
Okay,
learnt.
yes,
So how do you? So for you, control in the concept that you're looking at it here is about how to regulate your emotions and how to be honest about what's happening, so you can then make decisions about how you want to respond to that.
yes, yes. So if somebody had lost anyone and they
Mm-hmm.
were crying, I would start crying. So I learned how to control that because I lost control then of the reading because I became too much involved in that person's emotion.
Right. So then you couldn't objectively
I
observe
couldn't,
it.
that's right. So
Yeah.
control was about my thinking and the way that I had to detach myself. Not because I didn't have sympathy, I had to control myself and detach myself from that person's emotion or from the person that's delivering the message from the spirit world, their emotion, because I would just cry and cry and cry. And I would hang on to that emotion even after the reading.
Right. So you
So
got
I've
yeah.
learned to control,
Well, you learned how not to get enmeshed.
enmeshed, involved deeply.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my control, and that can be control with anything. I say control. You have to learn to master your own control because
Yeah.
not many of us have control.
Yeah, and I look at it at more so I know it sounds like just terminology, but for me there's a difference when I read the energy of it, is autonomy, where you are holding to your own sense and your own, if you want to say vibration, but the essence of yourself, and you observe what is happening around you.
Yes,
Whereas when you emotionally react and you start projecting your emotions out, because you can't help it, that's what happens to them. And then you entangle with the other person, and we all do this. It's harder to stay in that objectivity. And if you're
that's
looking
right.
for, and if you're looking for clarity, which is what you're after, if you're going to a medium or a psychic or even a counselor or anything like that,
Yes,
you're after objectivity and you're
yes,
after clarity.
that's
So
right. That's right.
yeah. So
So
that would have been part of your 20-year apprenticeship.
that's right. It was the control. Yes, the
Yes.
control. You know,
Your eyes widened then. Yes, it
yes,
was.
yes, yes.
Well, it is a big thing. It's a big thing to be able to acknowledge that you are having a reaction, and knowing you can't just suppress it. You've got to acknowledge the truth of it, but knowing that it's not appropriate for you to project that onto the other person.
Yes. And like control means a lot of different things for a lot of
Oh, for
people.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because some people are controlled by others. And this is where you have to learn to let them not control you. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I do. That's why I said this was going to get complex, because it is on what concept, on what context as well that you're taking control in.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
so it was open to very much interpretation, because I I've wrote a lot about the desire for control from a different aspect of when you have these beliefs and expectations and things that you want, and you're so hell bent in that's how it should be, then often you detach from reality and you
Yes,
start operating from things have got to work the way I want. Otherwise, I'm going to feel insecure and I don't want to feel that, or I'm not going to get what I want and I'm going to panic about that. So it's actually an emotional response to not having things your way.
that's right.
And
That's right.
yes. So, and we do all have, I haven't found anyone that doesn't register with that desire for control, but it's one of the hardest things to understand because we can justify it a lot,
That's
you
right.
know. So it's working out how to be in the dynamism of life and be honest about what you're interacting with, which is, our control and our judgment and our fears often get in the way of that. And I
Yes.
and I would presume a lot of people are coming to a medium because their fears or their insecurities or their hurts are so they don't know what to do with them, so they're coming for either hope,
Yes.
guidance, or clarity.
Yes. All
Yeah.
those. All those.
Yeah.
All those
Yeah.
three.
So you do need someone that can regulate their own emotions, otherwise, the otherwise you'd sink into that position where I'll tell you what you think you need because I wanna make you feel better and all the rest of it, and that does not help. You
No,
know
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And, you've got to come, like I said, with an open mind. And sometimes the reading may not be what you're expecting either. Because
Yeah.
at that time, you might be so down, not just down, but confused about
Yes.
different areas of your life because you want this to happen and that to happen. But it doesn't happen until, and that's a good word, you are in control of your own life. Until you start controlling who you want to be, what you want, none of this is going to happen.
Yeah, and I'd come at that just slightly different. Only is that if you're not valuing yourself, I don't, like for me, I get what you're saying, but it's just a different understanding of
Yes,
control. If you're not valuing who you are, I always say to people, sometimes you're like a buoy in the water, in the ocean. Whichever way the current's going, that's the way you're going to go, which means you're susceptible to everything that's around you.
that's right.
Whereas if you can be your own anchor, then you can still get knocked around with the waves and all the rest of it, but you've got a place to come back to.
Yes,
And then from that place you can make your decisions.
yes,
So you come into not selfishness, but autonomy and sovereignty where you are governing yourself. And but and in that you've got to be flexible and you've got to negotiate with the world and the people in it and all those things. So it's not about getting what you want, it's about being present in what you're experiencing.
yes, yes. And
Yeah.
like I said, like you mentioned, emotional, unless we're emotionally balanced,
Hmm.
okay, you're not ready for whatever you're going to experience because you're not, because it could lead to something more. So if you're not in the right frame of mind or happy within yourself, like you said, value yourself, you're not ready for anything. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
It's
brilliant.
sad.
Yeah. So can I ask you again, just do one more number, one to 430, just out of curiosity.
Okay, and number 11.
11.
Yes, I'm curious now what number 11 is.
I am too. 7 paragraphs to pick from.
Holy good night. Number 7.
Number 7. Okay, so I think this is interesting because this is about your energetic system, but I think this is what you're helping people with.
Okay.
So your soul oppression is the active force of your soul's unconsciousness, so your emotional baggage, which you use to emotionally, energetically, and physically oppress your awareness of your soul truth. So to
Yes.
break that down, you're using your emotional baggage to stop yourself from feeling your actual authenticity, which
Yes.
is what you're saying people should be looking for. Your soul truth is the reality of both your conscious and unconscious energy. So you're a bit of a conduit in between the two.
That's right. And you know what? It's funny because we're talking about emotional stuff. And what I've picked is about emotions. So that
Yes.
paragraph, yes, it's all about your emotional. So I'm just picking this up, okay, intuitively, psychically, clairvoyantly, whatever. I'm picking up that a lot of the listeners that are listening today, wherever they may be, a big hello to them, have got the emotions that are going through their minds now. Okay, we all have emotions, but some more than others. So they'll be thinking about their emotional state right now when they're listening.
Right.
So we might be able to help them.
Well, we hope. Yeah, because we are emotional beings, and our emotions and feelings tell us something.
Yes.
And
You know
we've got to
what?
be prepared to listen.
That's right. And you know what, Lorraine? Another thing that I'd like to also, put in
Mhm.
is that all of us are born psychic.
Yes.
Okay. If anyone tells me, I don't really like the word psychic because I feel it's a little bit, fakeish to me. That's
Right.
just me. I'm very uncomfortable with it. I don't know why, because we are all psychic. You're all born with intuition. You're all born with the brain. You're born with the stomach. And this is where we hold a lot of our emotion because the mind and the stomach connect. Okay.
Yeah.
And your gut feeling is always right. And this is what I tell a lot of my clients. Go by your gut feeling. You've got a decision to make. You don't need me. Go by your gut feeling because normally 99.9% it's right.
True. That is true.
It's
And
true.
that's why we have regret, because we overrode our own instincts. And then
That's right.
we always go, "Oh, I knew that."
Yes,
And
I
then
knew
my
that.
emotions got in the way.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So, can I
All
tell you
right.
my book,
Yes. Yeah.
More Than Meets the Eye? Do you like the cover?
I do like the cover. There's an
It's
eye
got,
on it and a
yes,
bridge to the eye.
yeah, the
It's
bridge to
lovely.
the eye. That's supposed to be somewhere up in heaven. Okay. Another wall. So pick a number between 1 to 275.
219.
Okay. 219. So what does 219 talk about? So we're talking about, oh God, I just mentioned, I've spoken about this. So I'm talking about the young man who was skeptic and had a lot of emotional stuff.
Okay.
So this is 219 is about that. And it talks about that we meet so many completely different mindset people and how emotionally he was very, very unhappy throughout his life. So this is the chapter that you've picked up.
See,
So
I actually love meeting people with all different types of mindsets
yeah,
because
well, this guy was actually he was born a girl,
right?
but he became a guy.
Mhm.
So today we're talking a lot about emotion,
Yeah.
and the chapters that I've picked and the questions we've talked about emotion, and what you've talked about is emotion
Yeah.
as well. Okay, so this is what this chapter is about in my book.
Yeah, right.
Emotional.
So what's the first line on the second paragraph?
On the second part, it says, telepathically, his grandmother wanted to pass on a message to him. She wanted to tell Charlie that she loved him and was very proud of the man that he had become. Her final words to him were, I love you.
Here you
Okay?
go.
So I'm just picking up that if anyone has lost a mother or grandmother, okay, I'm getting that this is a message for someone in the spirit world to the listeners. They love you.
Right.
Okay?
Well, I took from that. I think what it flagged up for me is that meeting people with different mindsets expands your own awareness,
Yes. Yes.
and accepting people's experience, like that person that's transitioned, is a way of accepting the uniqueness of each soul journey,
Yes.
and that part of what we're meant to be experiencing is the love that we have for each other's uniqueness.
Yes, and that's spot on. And it's funny because I mentioned that part of the guy that I had come for a reading that was skeptical, and then you picked out
Mm,
219. That's amazing.
Yeah, we love that. Well, I want to thank you, Josephine, for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. I hope, you have a lovely day and all the listeners have a lovely, lovely day and also get something out of this.
Yes.
I'm sure they will. We'll get
I'm,
humor
sh-
and everything.
I'm sure they will.